Hi, Adam.
Hi, Jared.
Long time no see on the cyberspace, as we said
Yes,
back in the
it's been a
90s.
while. It
All
has
right.
been a while. Yeah.
Well, the JSZN has an annual tradition, one of our few traditions, and that is to award the, say it,
Schmegegge of the Year Award.
Schmegegge. You couldn't even get the sentence right. Schmegegge of the Year Award. I made this very nice preliminary trophy here, and we have the actual trophy that will be coming up in a second. And we have a great big surprise for everyone for this year's award because everyone seemed to be trying to outdo each other, and they succeeded, and at the same time, they didn't. So,
Yeah.
without further ado, we bring you the Schmegegge of the Year Award for 2025. Catchy tune. That was awesome. I have to
Yeah.
say, just to our viewers here, that we have lost our tech team, which really is the software that I was able to get free from my university, and I no longer can. So our technology has been taken down a notch, which is why I have to use some music from the 30s. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's the Three Stooges theme.
I'm aware what it was, but you culturally live in the 1930s, and I don't. So I need some.
Well, that may be true, but this is an appropriate piece of music for giving out the Schmegegge of the Year Award because we've got not Three Stooges, but three Schmegegges
Three
this year.
Schmegegges. It's quite the achievement.
Yeah. Well, so yes, these are the Mo, Larry, and Curly of Schmegegges that we're giving out this year.
Yeah,
It was
maybe we should call the Labish, Kalman, and Moishe.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not to misgender the M, but what can you do?
Oh, they were Jewish.
Yeah, of course they were. Yeah, all three of them were.
The only one of the six Stooges that was not Jewish was Curly Joe DeRita.
Wait a sec. It was six Stooges, not three.
Well, there was always three at any given time, but there were in total six of them.
I
The
always
only,
thought it was the same three guys.
no, the only two constants were Mo and Larry, but the third Stooge changed several times.
Hmm.
You had
Live and
Curly
learn.
and you had and Shemp, and those were the two Howard brothers from Moe's other two brothers. But then there was also Joe Besser, who was a stooge for a short period of time, and Curly Joe DeRita, who was not Jewish.
These Stooges you speak of, will you show me the Stooges?
Will I show you the Stooges?
Will you show
No,
me the Stooges?
no, but
It's a,
I'll show you the Schmegegges.
that's a Seinfeld line. I'm not impressed.
Oh, I
Will you
guess I
show
missed.
these Stooges you speak of? Will you show me the
Ah,
Stooges? I will show you these Stooges.
okay.
All right. So without further ado, I know you all want to listen to our musings about culture, but we will move on. And I did see that Stooges episode, "You Nasty Spy" or whatever it's called, about the Third Reich. In any case, we have the award statement, and Adam's done a bang-up job in actually writing it with my input, of course. And I think, did a spectacular job. I should note here that we aren't giving it out to the three of them who've received it in the past because we didn't have any other contenders. There certainly are more contenders, certainly rising stars in Jewish studies and actual established people. But these three really outdid themselves. And so we figured it was necessary. Plus, Adam really wanted to play these stooges that he speaks of on our
That's
show.
right. Although we could have had other three people as the three Schmegegges.
That's
It's
true.
these were the
David Myers was certainly in the running.
yeah.
Shel McGee too.
Mhm.
Um, and Sasha the Twerp as well, but he gets the annual Twerp Award, so we should mention that too. The 2025 Twerp Award goes to Sasha Sundarovich.
All right. Well, we're not giving out a twerp award here. We're giving out the Schmegegge award.
Okay, I didn't make a trophy if that's what you have in mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, should we go ahead and read this?
Read the statement.
All right. And the 2025 Schmegegge of the Year award goes to Peter Beinart.
Omer
Omer,
Bartov and Mira Sukharov. Sorry, I was trying to do that.
Okay, there. They say misfortunes come in threes, and that's no less true of Schmegegge's. The Jewish Studies Zionist Network established a tradition when it was founded in 2022 to hand out an annual Schmegegge of the Year award to the most half-witted, prominent anti-Zionist professor of Jewish studies or adjacent field who has done the most that year to spread false and misleading ideas about the Jewish state. JSCN believes that such people are especially dangerous because their academic credentials bear a stamp of expertise and therefore give gravitas to the propaganda they spew. We established this award to shame these people for abandoning academic standards to unjustly demonize the Jewish state and its supporters.
Well, maybe make fun of them more than shame. But I should point out we did debate whether we should use half-witted, slow-witted, or dim-witted. And I guess we concluded with half-witted in the end.
Okay, well, minor point. The first year's recipient was NYU professor of journalism and editor at large of Jewish Currents, Peter Beinart. Is it Beinart or Beinart,
Why
by the way?
not?
Beinart. A year later, in 2023, the award was given to Brown University historian Omer Bartov. The 2024 awardee was Mira Sukharov, a professor of political science at Carleton University in Canada. In 2025, all three of these people have proven that the adage is true that once a Schmegegge, always a Schmegegge.
They've out-Schmegeggied themselves. How does Omer pronounce his first name in Hebrew? Is it Omer?
That's what I thought.
Okay, it might be. I don't know. I don't know anyone named Omer besides him.
I've seen him in interviews and it was referred to as Omer or
Okay.
right. For that reason, we have decided to give this year's award to a trifecta of co-recipients, Beinart, Bartov, and Sukharov, all together as the Mount Rushmore of Schmegeggedom, where they each deservedly belong. Their foolishness has been equal in measure to each other, but has far surpassed that of anyone else in Jewish studies this past year. What did they do to earn their permanent place in the pantheon?
Tell us,
Well,
Adam.
let's start with Beinart, the Schmegegge originarius. In November, he accepted an unpaid invitation to speak at Tel Aviv University, where he lambasted Israel for its war against Hamas, which he called a genocide. But that wasn't Beinart's most egregious act of daftness in this episode. When he returned from his trip to Israel, he was bombarded with criticism from the Boycott, Divest, and Sanction (BDS) supporters, accusing him of abandoning solidarity with the Palestinian cause by giving a talk at an Israeli institution. Perish the thought. He responded to the complaints by apologizing for his dastardly deed of flying to Israel to have a conversation with other academics. Terrible, just terrible. The groveling Beinart said, "It's embarrassing to admit such a serious mistake. I dearly wish I had not made this one."
You know, at this point, I wonder why Israel actually lets him in, given that he boycotts the country.
Did he
But
have trouble
it,
getting in once?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if it was in reference to him, but what's her name? Sippy Livni once said, "Let him tunnel his way to Tel Aviv." I don't know if it was in reference to him though, but it was a good line. So,
I
but the
know
thing is, I
he
think it
tried
does
to
more
get in.
good. It does more good to actually let him in and have this spectacle ensue than to not let him in.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but I remember a few years ago he tried to get in, I guess, to go to a relative's bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah or something like that, and he had to go through all kinds of trouble to,
Wait
you
a
know,
second, shouldn't he be boycotting bar mitzvahs too in
I
Israel?
I don't know.
Religion is in the domain of the state there, which means he's sort of supporting the state of Israel and its ethnocratic system, as he would put it.
Doesn't matter. He was trying to get into the country. It doesn't matter what it was for.
Hmm.
Anyway, so moving on to Omer Bartov, Schmegegge Secundus. In July, he penned an op-ed in the New York Times titled, "I'm a genocide scholar. I know it when I see it." In that article, Bartov joined the chorus of anti-Israel propagandists in completely misrepresenting Israel's goals in the Gaza war. While doing so, he shrugged off the expertise of major Holocaust scholars such as Dr. Norman Goda that reject the genocide framing of Israel's military operations in Gaza. In addition to redefining the word genocide to suit a simplistic narrative, Bartov also plays fast and loose with Holocaust history to maliciously compare Israel's actions to fight Hamas with that of Nazi Germany's against Jews. Bartov wrote, "Today, the IDF is primarily engaged in an operation of demolition and ethnic cleansing." He added no context to their strategic decisions, neither the difficulties Hamas creates in targeting them and their weapons depots without firing on civilian bystanders, nor the significant efforts Israel's army goes through to move innocent Palestinians away from targets so they don't get hurt. He calls that ethnic cleansing.
Let me add two things here, which the article has, and this article is really worthy of a major takedown, which people have done. He claims that the Holocaust started out as an ethnic cleansing operation, and that's simply not true. The Nazi objective, encrusted in their very ideology, was the complete expunging of Jews from the Reich, the ever-expanding Reich territorially. Granted, the goal was to completely remove them at first and have as many die along the way and not to enact what then became known as the final solution. But to call this ethnic cleansing, which literally means, to kill, to remove in part through either deportation or killing or scaring and forcing to leave, ethnic cleansing associated with the Balkan Wars primarily, is simply wrong. The Holocaust was not an ethnic cleansing operation by any means. Sure, there were little ethnic cleansing operations in it, but its grand vision was something much, much different. Secondly, I don't think you went into this here, but the thing is, he says that he doesn't understand why Holocaust scholars are not getting on board with his claims, whereas genocide scholars are. And maybe that's because genocide scholars really don't know what they're talking about. And they're using a comparative model, much as political scientists often do, no offense. And they're playing very fast and loose with the facts of the different cases that they're comparing, completely ignoring context and other relevant factors. So it makes sense that Holocaust scholars are not comparing this to Nazi Germany because they understand Nazi Germany and they know this is not a Holocaust or a genocide. A very poorly defined term, I should add. But you
Mm-hmm.
can continue, Dr. Political Science.
Mm-hmm. Right. But the point is that he's a Schmegegge. Now,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, but Bartov is a genocide scholar. So we are all just supposed to take his word for it that Israel is committing genocide. Never mind that he arrived at these conclusions without the careful academic rigor we normally expect from scholars. Last, we
Hold
turn to
on. But he's not really a genocide scholar. He's actually a Holocaust scholar. And
that's what I thought. That's
that's
what
the
I thought.
silliness of all this. He knows better about the claims he's making about Nazi Germany, which is the real problem.
But can't we call a Holocaust scholar a genocide scholar? They're studying genocide.
They are, but if they're not comparing it to if they're not doing comparative genocide, are they really genocide scholars? And the Holocaust was so atypical of genocides, which I'm not going to get into right now, but
Yeah, but I mean, look, some of these other Holocaust historians, like Norman Goda, is very well versed on other genocides,
well,
not
they
just
should be well versed in it, but they still wouldn't define themselves as genocide scholars.
right. Okay. All right. So last we turn to Schmegegge Tertius, Mira Sukharov. How out of touch with reality does one need to believe that free Palestine is a call for freedom, not for hate, bigotry, and murder? What level of myopia does it take to think that globalize the Intifada is not a call for worldwide violence against Jews? And yet, Sukharov has consistently insisted on her social media accounts that these things are true. In one social media post, Sukharov criticized the shooter at the Capitol Jewish Museum for shouting "Free Palestine" just before carrying out his execution of two Israeli embassy staffers.
Oh, excuse me.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
That made you sneeze, huh?
Yep.
Okay. As if free Palestine, as if this is an inappropriate thing to say as he was about to murder Israelis. It takes a real schmagegi to think that this is intrinsically a phrase of peace that has only been appropriated this one time by a terrorist. A year after violent attacks on Jews all over the world, culminating with the massacre at Bondi Beach in Australia on the first night of Hanukkah, Sukharov still maintains that globalize the Intifada is a peaceful slogan. According to her condescending screeds over social media, a calling for global intifada is merely a plea for global solidarity with the Palestinian people. She said, punishing or prohibiting the use of the phrase based on its presumed impact on some listeners ignores its patent ambiguity. Pres-
That's the point though here. She's saying that there is ambiguity, and to Jewish ears it might sound like they're calling for death, but that's not what the word means in Arabic. It's about this inner struggle of sorts, and it could mean for these leftists the liberation of all peoples by globalizing this inner struggle. So it's going to free everyone, including the Jews who are oppressed in, I guess, these systems of oppression we are living under. And note that she wrote this post a few days ago. We had already drafted our statement by that point, so it required some serious editing. That social media post is up there for everyone to see on her Facebook page, and I posted it on my Facebook page, and it's a
it
public
didn't
post.
require serious editing. I just squeezed this in there. I just
Well,
put
you know
it
what
in.
I mean. You have to open up
Well,
the document and copy and paste and transcribe and all that fun
that's
stuff.
true. Yeah. Presumed impact, patent ambiguity. We think the mounting death tolls from the violent attacks against Jews just in 2025 alone proves that there is no presumption or ambiguity going on. When people chant that phrase, they mean exactly what we are hearing.
Which means March 27th, 2002, let's blow up a Passover Seder in Netanya. I think I got the date right.
Exactly. And while Sukharov does decry the events of October 7 as a trauma of traumas for the Jewish people, what she gives with one hand, she takes away with the other. She went on to blame the atrocities committed by Hamas that day on the Nakba. She said, but the Palestinians have lived under untenable arrangements owing to the Nakba and the ensuing occupation. In doing so, she threw blame for the entire violence of that day at the feet of Israel's founders. It's not simply 1967 she thinks is to blame for what happened. That would be bad enough. But she goes further and attributes Hamas's brutalities to Israel's War of Independence in 1948. For these reasons, and many others, there's too many to list. These three Schmegegges, Beinart, Bartov, and Sukharov, are each worthy of JSCN's annual award of dishonor.
Amen. No, that's
Amen.
absolutely correct. And I'd like to underscore here that we are both serious scholars here, and we take issue with many simplifications, regardless of where they are in the political spectrum. We're dealing with hyphen bullies in our own universe at the moment who want to remove the hyphen from anti and Zionism, like that's going to solve everything. But in any case, these are complicated questions. They really are. And they require scholarly rigor to understand, not sound bites and Facebook posts, which earn them mass followers. Sukharov actually spoke before a Senate committee on anti-Semitism in Canada. I will just preface here that the Senate in Canada is an utterly irrelevant institution and has been since at least the 80s. But the point is that they're listening to her. And she is saying, among other things, that Palestine liberation movement can't be taken as anti-Semitic because of the power imbalance between Jews and Palestinians and many other factors. So, but the
Well,
problem is it is anti-Semitism.
this just goes to the point that I made at the beginning of the statement
Of the
that
Schmegegges?
uh, yeah, that because of their credentials, because of who they are and their status in the academic world, and this is especially the case with Omar Bartov, who is
Yeah.
one of the most respected Holocaust historians around, like in the world today. Like
Well, let's not exaggerate. He's no Christopher Browning or anything like that, but okay.
he's way up there. He's pretty
He is
high.
up there, yes.
It gives a kind of this air of authenticity to what they're saying, and it's entirely propaganda.
100%. And we make you laugh, people, with our Schmegegge Award, but being a Schmegegge is no laughing matter.
That's true.
Yeah, you must take it seriously. So I guess that wraps up business. We know that our podcasts have been somewhat reduced to Schmegegge dumb, is that the term you used?
That's the term. Do you like that term?
It's a great term and it's going to go in the heading somewhere. Mount Rushmore or Schmegegge. But I think this is an important service for the Jewish people, for supporters of Israel, and really for humanity as a whole to make this world a better place. And we're doing our job. This is our
Do
this
you
is our tikkun olam.
This is our yeah, but we might get some people saying some pushback from members of our network that giving it to three people is kind of a cop out. That we should narrow it down to one person. What would you say to that?
I would say that let's throw it back in their face and say, take a poll, which one deserves it more than the other,
Uh,
and we will see what the results are. But I think this is very difficult to decide. If we were going to have to pick one, Peter Beinart, were it not for his visit to Israel a few weeks ago, then I wouldn't put him up there for anything that he's done this year. Bartov's New York Times editorial from, what was it, May, April?
yeah.
Maybe
So
a little
July.
earlier. It was in July. Okay, so that one, I think that might be one of the worst moments of this year in terms of public exposure for these false and dangerous Schmegegge-esque narratives, if you will. But then Sukharov came in at the 11th hour with this, our liberation is inextricably linked, and globalize the Intifada embodies that statement.
And
So
free Palestine is not. That's so bizarre. Free Palestine is not a you know it's intrinsically a phrase of peace. That's bizarre.
it's not intrinsically a phrase of peace. It might mean a phrase of
That's
peace
what
to other
she's.
people. The point is that globalize the Intifada is not a phrase of peace. It's mathematically impossible for it to be so in the English language in the diaspora. I'm sorry, it can't be. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody on these college campuses are reading Arabic texts from the 1700s talking about having an inner jihad or an inner struggle to liberate oneself peacefully. It's just simply not.
Also, she's saying this in the midst of an actual intifada globally that's taking place. It
Yeah,
is play. Like this is not a call for something to happen later. This is describing and encouraging more of what we have already seen. Like almost every day, daily, there's some kind of violent incident taking place somewhere in the world
she wrote
against.
this in response to Bondi
And she
Beach.
wrote, that's right. She wrote in response to what this is more people died in at Bondi Beach than at the Pittsburgh Tree of
Oh, is
Life.
that true? Yeah.
Bigger, there's a larger massacre. Yeah.
I'm still going with the fact that the US might be a little bit safer than these other places, but I don't know. I don't want to make any presumptions here. But no, it's not right. It's very dangerous. And she finished off that post by talking about Jews wielding more institutional and whatever else other power than Palestinians here. But if you have institutional power, if you happen to be walking around with white skin, does it really make a difference when someone walks in with a weapon and shoots up a Jewish celebration? Does it really matter what color your skin is, or whether you've got lawyers working on behalf of governments and people, working in Hollywood disproportionately? And the media is not even on our side anymore, so I'm not going to even, say that. I mean, it's
Mhm.
absurd. This has nothing to do with the dispersion of power. Jews don't have more power than Palestinians in the diaspora, and that in and of itself is an anti-Semitic trope.
That's correct.
Yeah. Now, what was the most Schmegegge-esque act of the year was, in fact, Beinart's recanting and apologizing for going to Israel. I mean, that's textbook Schmegegge. That goes without saying. So we'll leave it up to you, dear viewer, and we'd like you to enjoy the trophy, which we will not show again due to my limited technological equipment at my disposal.
Mhm.
So this is Jared and Adam.
Wait a minute. Wait, I want to just say that if you're looking for a good book this year, I came out with one this year.
Oh yeah, Adam came out with well, I came out with a book too. The Armed Jew. I came out with Tales of a Yid in
Books.
Dixieland.
Right. So these make great stocking stuffers.
Yeah, yeah,
So you can get them on Amazon.
yeah.
All
Mine's
right.
only 9.99.
Mine is $20. All right. The Armed Jew, the case for Jewish gun ownership.
Okay, well, mine does have guns in it, as you see on the. See, I actually have a gun on the cover. Do you?
Yes, I do have a
Oh,
gun on
okay.
it.
All right. Well, it
Yeah.
seems that we've both written books about guns. Do you
They're
have any
close.
alligators in yours?
No alligators,
Oh,
no.
okay.
But
Yeah,
this is Wicked Sun 2025.
this is published by Where is Palestine Press,
Uh-huh. Okay.
as you can see.
Yeah.
And we should do a book launch episode, maybe the two of us at some point. So enjoy and please buy our books. Adam's making money off of his. I only made $150.
So you'll
All
buy
right.
lunch. Okay.
What?
You'll buy lunch then.
I'll buy lunch. No, I already spent it on liquor. In
Uh,
any case. All
all right.
right.
This is Adam and Jared signing off. Have a happy New Year.
Thank you for watching.